In rural 1870s Dearborn, Michigan, we have a young man growing up on a farm. He gets tired of the farm life and goes to the neighboring city of Detroit, Michigan, and ends up taking work in a machine shop. Here he encounters the internal combustion engine and its inner workings. This is Henry Ford. Henry Ford was a well-known American innovator, philanthropist, and a major foundation for American industrialization and connection of America. Ford was born in 1863 on that family farm in Dearborn, Michigan. Eventually he goes to meet his wife, Clara Bryan, in 1888, and she has their son, Edsel Ford, in 1893. He would then go on to found the Ford Motor Company in 1903 and start production of the infamous Model T in 1908. This production is also what spawned the modern assembly line and influenced our 40-hour, 5-day work week. The impact of the Model T on America was kind of incomprehensible at the time. At Perster.org, his sales were so high and so successful that eventually he couldn't keep up with demand. And this is what started spawning that assembly line because he had to figure something out. But this Model T provided access to America for all, from rural to urban. This also helped sustain the economy because these rural people were able to go to the cities and spend their money. They were able to buy consumer goods and help maintain the economy. With needing to increase his production times, and just in general, this is what caused him to form the modern assembly line. And per historyofyesterday.com, this assembly line allowed him to go from 12 and a half hours of build time with skilled labor to 93 minutes of unskilled labor build time, which eventually, even as early as 1914, allowed him to build 4,000 cars per day. And this immense production value, and as such, the employment it requires, won him an award in 1920 for having the largest company in the world. He had 200,000 employees cranking out all these cars every day. With this streamline of production, it also meant that the car cost less to maintain, or less to make. And this is something that mattered to him, so he dropped the price. The car became quite affordable, even for the 1920s. It came out to about $825, which roughly today is $25,000 to $30,000. Everybody had access. And by 1927, he had produced 15.5 million cars. And in the 2 decades that this encompasses is what allowed him to really make permanent that rural to urban access for America. And from attempting, and successfully attempting, to staff these assembly lines, we have the $5 daily wage, which was a double for that time. It was roughly $2.50 a day wage. And per henryford.org, he instituted this wage in 1914. And not long after 1916, his female employees also got the raise. Something to be noted there. This vastly improved his turnover rate, which was previously 370%. But this came with a caveat, as Ford inspectors would come to the employees' homes to make sure they were adhering to the policies in place for these wages, such as, don't drink alcohol. Prohibition wasn't a thing, but don't drink alcohol. Don't beat your family, And have a savings account. Put a few dollars away. So, no beer, no fists, a couple dollars in the savings account, and you get to keep your $5 a day. It wasn't too long after, in 1926, is when he also adopted the 40-hour, 5-day work week. He did this in an attempt to make his employees happier and hopefully get more production out of them, which it worked. It instilled loyalty in his workers, and their daily workload increased, but they got 2 days off. It was a trade-off. Well, rest stop's coming up. It means his journey's coming to an end. As we know, Ford was known for all these things. He was known for the assembly line, the 40-hour, 5-day work week, and just the immediate early foundation of industrialization to America. He was known for his quotes, one of which is, "The only true test of values, either of men or things, is that of their ability to make the world a better place."